Putting it on Do Not Disturb. Vlad and I are currently recording a 3-minute introduction video for one of my job applications. I didn't record!
Oh my god. The worst. She's the worst.
Ah! Okay, well, here's the setup. There's Vlad adjusting the mic.
As long as you're underneath the mic, please, underneath the mic.
There's my script. Come on, zoom in. For the introduction, and there's the extra light that we got going on. It's pretty serious, guys. We're getting serious over here. You gotta stand out in these job applications. It is Thursday, February 8th, and I have currently applied for about a little bit more than 20 jobs so far. It's been a month. I know it's not that much. I'm honestly a lot slower than I probably should be when it comes to applying for jobs. I'm also really picky because I just don't want to end up in a job that I hate. I had a few mental breakdowns, but honestly I'm like, am I even in a place to feel that way when I only applied for 20 jobs when I know other people are like, oh, apply for over 100 at least, or over 150 jobs, and I'm like, how? Some jobs, applying for them, it's so painstakingly slow, but that's what it is. And so props to you if you're really fast at applying, because I'm not. And I think the hardest part is that I'm trying to look for remote jobs because Vlad and I are trying to move, and I know that just makes it a lot harder because obviously everyone wants a remote job, and I'm actually pretty open to it not being remote if it weren't for the fact that Vlad and I are moving. I don't know, it's a struggle. I also kind of started freaking out though, just because when you look for jobs, they now use like an ATS tracker for a lot of them. I was using like 0.8 font, and apparently ATS usually reads 10 or above, and now I'm like, I hope that I didn't just submit all those job applications for nothing, and that I get at least one interview. I'm gonna keep applying and see how this journey goes. I only applied for one job today so far. I'm currently working on my second one. It's been really slow because my internet went out and just kept disconnecting. I have no idea why. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Wish me luck. Hi guys. So yeah, that was me about 2 months ago. About a few months ago, I decided that I needed to start looking for a job. I currently do personal styling, and my husband and I also own a photography studio, which we're selling because we are moving, and I'm not making enough money. I also had a part-time job, but even all of that wasn't enough. So I decided to start looking for a new full-time job. This all started around October, where I was just setting up informational interviews, and even though I did apply for a few jobs, I realized the best time to look would probably be in the new year, because I felt like that would be the time where a lot of companies are ready to start taking on new employees. I started to really be more aggressive with job hunting. I also was not very happy with my part-time job because it took up way more time than I expected it to take based on what they told us when we were initially applying for the job, and I was getting paid shit, to be quite honest. So I was looking for a new job pretty frantically. I was very hopeful in January. I was like, okay, well maybe by the end of February I'll get something, because typically from my past experience and from what I've heard from my friends, it takes about 2 months to find a new job. But at the same time, the longer that I kept applying, the more and more depressed that I got looking. Because if you're looking for a new job just like me, I'm sure you understand the amount of effort and stress that it takes on you to even just apply for anything. I mean, for me, I really felt like I was going crazy over every single detail whenever I submitted a job application. I don't know if you're the same way. They say tailor every single application, make sure you're using the keywords, make sure your resume is perfect, make sure you're writing a cover letter.
It's enough slices!
All of these things, it's just insane that you do all of this work only to over 90% of the time, hear back nothing, crickets. And it just takes a lot out on you. And it sucked because it felt like I'm on this never-ending quest to search for a job. And of course, hopefully, one will turn up one day. But I felt like I was just pressuring myself like, oh, I have to apply to at least 3 jobs a day, and if I don't do that, I'm not trying hard enough. I kept questioning myself about whether or not I was approaching job hunting correctly. I started to use an ATS tracker for like every single application that I put in, just to make sure that my application would get past the ATS screening check, hopefully. I had to constantly review my resume to make sure if it was even good enough. I made a video that I attached on my resume to make myself stand out more from the other applicants, hopefully. I just tried to do anything that I could. Not hearing anything back for 2 months straight was really making me question myself, like, am I good enough? And I know that I should never question myself that, because you are always good enough. But yeah, it was really getting to me. And with that being said, I really had to like sit down with myself and be like, hey, this isn't right. I should not be this stressed out. I know, and I accepted that job hunting was going to be very stressful, but I don't think I was prepared or understood the extent of how bad it was going to be, especially this time. There were a lot of factors that scared me because of all the layoffs going on in the job market, and everyone, a bunch of my friends are looking for a job right now, and so understanding how much competition there is, and also for me in particular, I've never worked a traditional corporate job before, and so trying to apply for corporate jobs was really scary to me, because it made me question whether or not I was competitive enough because I didn't have the traditional corporate experience. So that really scared me. And yeah, eventually I had to sit down and tell myself, like, look, I can't afford to keep stressing out the way that I am now. I mean, it's understandable to have stress when looking for a job, but I would cry so much and was just absolutely miserable and depressed, and that was not okay. And so I knew that I had to change something. I had to change my mindset somehow. And whenever I start to feel really down and get in my head and overthink, there's this speech that I listen to, which kind of helps me out. And this speech, it's called The Strangest Secret. No, it's not an ad or anything. The speech is from way long ago. I think it was made around the 1950s. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember the exact time frame. But yeah, it's called The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, and I listen to it whenever I'm feeling down. Honestly, this time I was really resistant to listening to it because I was like, man, I've listened to this speech so many times already. What is another time going to do? How is it going to help me? But no, I listened to it and it helped me feel so much better. If you have time and you're up for it, I highly recommend listening. But basically, one of the things that it talks about in the speech is don't conform. And I think this is so important because a lot of times we tend to compare ourselves to other people and kind of give ourselves this expectation that we have to be like everyone else, doing as well as everyone else, or being successful the same way that everyone else is being successful. And when I listened to that in the speech, don't conform, it reminded me like, hey, maybe Jasmine, you haven't worked a traditional corporate job, but that doesn't mean that you can't achieve success or get a job or make money the same way that everyone else makes money. And I've already known for a long time that working corporate is not my end goal. I know that my ultimate goal in life is to work for myself, doing something that makes me happy, but also positively contributes to the world somehow. I still don't know exactly what that is, but all I know is I like making content on YouTube, so here we are. But in this speech, they talk about success and how it looks different for everyone. I'm not gonna lie, this speech is not perfect, by the way, because it is a little misogynistic, but it doesn't mean that you should throw away everything that it says in the speech, because it still gives some pretty good points. I don't remember the exact words, but they say something along the lines of success is the progression towards a worthy ideal, something along those lines. And listening to that reminded me, what is my goal in life? Well, as of right now, my current goal is to eventually work for myself and also do YouTube full time. Remembering that reminded me like, hey, right now I just need money. Working a corporate job isn't the only way to get that extra money or income. And so why am I stressing out over something that isn't my dream or my goal? Why? It doesn't make any sense. And so when that finally clicked in me, I realized I need to shift my priorities and start putting more time into what I actually love doing that aligns with my goals. Not saying that I'm going to give up on job hunting, but just know that I don't need to spend 24/7 stressing out, trying to run after something that's not actually my dream. And so ever since that happened, I just felt like this giant weight has been lifted off of my shoulders, and it feels like this rain cloud that was drizzling and pouring rain over my head is now gone, and I can finally see the sunlight. And even though I'm still looking for a job, I don't feel so hopeless and depressed anymore every single day thinking, man, now I gotta look for a job and spend the whole day doing it. Now I just set aside a small portion of my week to look for a job, and I try to spend the remaining time of it working on what I actually love doing, which is making content. And that has made me so much happier. I just felt like the moment I had this mindset shift, everything started to fall into place. And I even got a job interview. So I am very excited to see where this leads. Of course, getting a job interview doesn't mean anything or that I'm going to get this job, but I just feel like there's finally hope. By the way, just a disclaimer, the company that I am interviewing for is an organization I really love, and I actually could not imagine getting something better than this. So praying that everything goes well. Mental health and happiness are so important to me. So really changing this perspective has helped me a lot. And if you made it to the end of this video, by the way, thank you so much for listening. But if there's anything that I want you to take away, it's that if there's something that is really bothering you in your life and it doesn't feel right, just remember to focus on what your goals are and what really makes you happy. And I think that will just make life so much better. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for going down this rabbit hole with me. Life is hard, but you know, it's worth it. And I think it's worth it to make it as great as we can.